So I've been passing this highway for about 5 minutes or so. I look to my right and I see these 3 lights. Actually, I don't know if it happened, but one light keeps fading away and then another light keeps appearing. Oh, there's a 4th one that just popped up. And I am just kind of confused as to what is going on right now. Is that a 5th light that just popped up? Yeah. And I am looking back and forth between my camera and the road to make sure I'm not going off the road. Man, that is crazy. It's pretty level with me. It's really dark. It's about 6 o'clock Mountain Time. I am in New Mexico, driving to El Paso, Texas. And passing lots of shrubbery too, so it'll maybe block the light a little bit. That's just weird, man. Just gonna keep recording this in case something else interesting happens. Okay, looks like it's down to just one light right now. And they've been doing this for probably about the last 10 minutes. Okay, it looks like the last light's gone. I'm kind of, it's just hitting over me a little bit.
Hey, what is up, guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. This first piece of UFO footage that you just saw, very perplexing, very mysterious, and although it was recorded vertically, I'm willing to forgive, because despite that, it's a completely dark video being shot out of a car, and we really don't have any context besides the few cars that are passing by underneath. What we do have is an amazing view of what can only be described as not a plane, not a drone, not a weather balloon, not swamp gas, and not light reflected off of Venus. So, this was sent over to me by a Mr. McKinley, who wanted to share this footage that he captured this past weekend on his way to El Paso, Texas. He went on to say that he is active duty Air Force for over 3.5 years now, and that he has never in his life seen anything as bizarre as what he captured in this footage. He went on to say that he has seen lots of different types of aircraft, as you would, especially in your experience in the Air Force. Even during nighttime, he's seen a lot of aircraft, and especially at night, usually those aircraft will have, in one form or another, blinking lights on them that are a dead giveaway that what you are seeing is a civilian or military aircraft. But that's not what we have here, and he says that this is definitely not the case with this piece of amazing UFO footage. So he sent it over. I am happy and was happy to post this, wanted to let you guys see it, and as usual, wanted to see if we can get any of our eagle-eyed viewers out there to follow up on this, or if you have seen it yourself, to send me an email. We can try to figure out what these things were. And again, why this particular piece of UFO footage is so strange is because we have what in the beginning looks like your typical TR-3B style triangular craft with the 3 lights. That is certainly one of the more common shapes of UFOs that we've seen. We've seen them all over the world. We've seen them in space above the Earth, and we've seen them on other planets and bodies in our solar system. And these craft do exist, but as the footage moves forward, not only do we have this object rotating, changing its position and perspective in the sky, but then we begin to see more lights appear, different formations taking shape, other lights vanish, before we are finally left with 3 lights once again, and then 2, and then finally 1, before the entire formation vanishes once and for all. So amazing piece of footage. Big thanks to Mr. McKinley out of El Paso, Texas. Let me know what you guys think about that. Now, another very strange piece of footage out of Romania of something lighting up the night skies. So go ahead and check this out.
Uite, a fost așa, uite așa, uite acolo, acolo mai mult. Uite, uite!
Alright, very, very short video, and unfortunately the video is ended immediately after we see this bright light. I was emailed this over, again from a viewer in Romania. The subject title reads, "Strange Lights over Romania." He said in his email, "I'm writing to you because something very strange happened over the city I live in. The city is called Morini, and this happened between 9 and 10 p.m. on November 20th. I was home with my friend who was over, and we saw this. And as you see, and we'll go ahead and slow this down, we have this bright, what almost looks like an explosion of light up in the clouds. It does not look to me to be something on the ground, but more something up in the clouds, and this was the position of the source, who also said whatever this was, it was definitely up in the clouds. Now, after this happened, shortly after this burst of light occurred, the power suddenly went out in the city. And to further confirm, there were no reports, once the power was turned back on shortly thereafter, of anything that could have caused the power to go out. There were no reports of any car wrecks, transformer explosions, anything like that. It has remained a mystery and is still a mystery what exactly caused the lights to go out. And we may have that piece of footage that is at least showing us something that went on in the skies over Romania, that almost like you would see in an EMP, which is an electrical magnetic pulse that knocks out the power. Definitely something we've seen with UFOs, as well as future military weaponry. So very, very strange. Big thanks to the source out of Romania for sending this over. Strange things in our skies. Now we have a piece of infrared footage of an object that was captured moving very fast through space. That was sent over by a viewer and amateur skywatcher, Mr. Larry Hayes, who captured what he described as a saucer-shaped object moving at lightning speeds through space. So go ahead and check this out.
What the hell is that? What the hell?
Alright, so awesome footage, again, filmed in infrared, and it was shot by the source using his HD night vision rifle scope that he had secured his camera to, and that was running in IR mode, or infrared mode, but not thermal. So we're seeing infrared here. Another thing to note is that this object was not visible with the naked eye and could not be seen without the infrared. Now, another thing to note is that this source mentioned in his email that he has actually worked for NASA at the Johnson Space Center and is extremely familiar with all of the aircraft and spacecraft that are made public and that you would normally see in our skies, and he said this is none of them. He said that the object moved in very strange ways, filming it for about 2 minutes before it finally flies over the horizon. Another thing he had mentioned is that the International Space Station had just flown over before he recorded this, so this is definitely not the International Space Station. The source says that he has recorded many objects that are actually in our atmosphere, airplanes, jets, things like that, and that this object was definitely an unidentified object that was in space, moving very quickly. And at one point, just at the beginning of the video, we can actually see two objects moving in separate directions that sort of crisscross with one another. Now, another thing to mention that we may not be able to see perfectly with this footage, but to the source, In his opinion, this object was 100% being flown by something or someone because it changed directions and speeds at different times, and that he had seen the object prior to this. So a very interesting piece of footage. The object definitely has this sort of egg oval shape to it, and again was only visible in infrared, which is another very common thread to many of the UFO sightings that we have posted on, where we have seen daytime footage where only UFOs are identified in infrared, but to the naked eye they're invisible. So believe it or not, there is a large amount of activity happening in our skies. You could have an unknown object sitting in the sky above your house, 10 feet above you right now, and you would not know it was there until you took a peek at the same sky with an infrared camera, which is where we will see many of these objects become visible for the first time. So it's actually kind of creepy when you think about it, but it's the truth, and we featured many pieces of footage displaying this. So big thanks to the source. I'm going to keep in touch with him, and he's going to continue recording objects, and we will feature more footage from him in future. Alright, so before we end today's video, I want to mention one last piece of footage that is actually going viral. It's hit the web over the past couple days. All of the major online news publications have picked it up. And what it is a shot of the moon that purports to show UFOs, many UFOs in fact, flying up from the moon surface and flying out and around the back side. So go ahead and check this out. Alright, so this was posted by Jerry Vigil, who operates a YouTube channel by the same name. I will put the link to this down in the video description. And it looks to have been captured with a very high-powered DSLR camera. And as you just saw in the very first shot, we have what look like a few definite large UFOs coming up from the surface of the moon. Later on, we see what looks like a massive fleet of objects coming up from the moon's surface, flying out into space, while others have said that they definitely look to be flying back around the backside. So this footage is definitely causing a lot of controversy online. Some people are saying that this is definitely real, that they have seen similar things and recorded similar things. Of course, we have featured countless pieces of lunar footage on this channel showing UFOs flying over the moon, casting shadows on the moon, and again, flying over the backside. And of course, we have a ton of evidence going back to the Apollo moon landings and testimony from the astronauts who walked on the moon themselves, who reported on seeing these UFOs parked on the moon and flying above it. These very well could be objects, UFOs coming up from the moon. On the other hand, some are saying that this is simply an issue with the lens, dust on the lens, what have you, but we will leave that up for you guys to decide. Either way, very mysterious footage. Let me know what you guys think. And big thanks to everyone who sent in their footage today. Our skies continue to be a mystery, and that is why I will continue and love to do this work. So thanks to everyone for stopping by today. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And I think I'm gonna enjoy maybe an after midnight snack, have a Secure Team cookie, which came from the entire box of about a dozen of these cookies that was shipped over to me by a fan of the channel who actually runs their own cake and cookie making business called The Lucky Cakery. Now, since I posted a video featuring these cookies, I've gotten a ton of emails from people wanting to know if they can order some and have them shipped out. So basically, I will put the website to the Lucky Cakery down in the video description, and if you want your very own Secure Team cookies, give them a call, send them an email, speak with Kimberly. She is the owner, and I'm sure she would be happy for the business. And we are, again, very thankful that she took it upon herself to make these awesome, delicious Secure Team cookies. All right, so gotta go. Got some cookies to eat. Stay tuned, and I'll have a lot more very, very soon. Stay safe, guys.